All right, just in case one of them decides to take off, there they are up there on the first light pole, which is next to the nest that they just built. So they decided to stick with the old nest. Yeah, sometimes it's just better to get back to basics, right? Yeah. All right, so I think we should be okay about right here. So we'll stick with right here, and then maybe I'll get a little closer after that. We'll just see how we do with this first, okay? Actually, I'll probably just stick with this because we can get both of them in frame with optical zoom. All right, and yeah, it's always a bit tricky with this tripod. I really don't like it. I never really liked these tripods. Yeah, you see. All right, so there we go. So there's both of them within frame. You can see both of them here. Okay, so we'll just film for like just a couple minutes. I'm making it quick so I can go back to see if Tammy's around. All right, so here's Sue and Lou. Yep, Sue and Lou are both there. I usually don't have much success with Lou, which is why why I stay distance away from Lou. Sue is Sue is a lot more tolerant. Sue can deal with me a lot more than Lou can. Lou is the one that's on the left, and Sue is the one that's on the right, because that one has the, brown chest. You can see Lou looks fuller than Sue, but always hard to tell. They're probably both doing well. But yeah, we got both Sue and Lou together right there. So I figured I'd just film them together for tonight. Don't want to jinx it. I'll just stay right here for now. And maybe tomorrow, well, there won't be a tomorrow because I'm probably not going to film these osprey for at least a few weeks, maybe longer. I don't know. But everything's going okay. So I'm just going to stick with there's only 3 osprey that I'm going to be focused on. It's going to be the ones that are on the the dead tree, which they repaired. The osprey did repair that nest. And then this osprey nest, and there's a crow on the light poles. I don't think they'll be bothered by the crow. We should be okay. All right, and then lastly, we got the St. Mary's osprey nest, the St. Mary's Lake osprey, whatever their names were. I'm trying to remember. Well, one of them's Fearless Tom, and then the other one is, oh man, I can't remember what the other one's name is. Yeah, I'm lost on that one. Well, anyways, I know Sue and Lou. I know them very well. I've known them more than any other osprey, I'd say. So we'll just see what happens here. Everything should be good between them. We should be good. So it's a good spot. I mean, I like the location that they picked for their nest. They initially were kind of bothered at first because they had construction crews, fixing the field that's next door. But now everything's all good. And that location of their nest is actually better than the one previously, because now they're smack in between the 2 fields, which means they'll see a lot of people walking around, most likely. Although there is a dead end, there's a fence that isn't open. They closed down that fence except for during the baseball games. So the only way to come in is through the other entrance. All right, so I'm gonna still film these osprey at the same time. that I filmed the other ones. We're just gonna stick with here. They're perfectly okay with me. Yeah, everything's all good. Alright, so I will definitely be going after this, and hopefully I'll have enough time to see Tammy real quick. There won't be any time for me to film the St. Mary's Osprey, so if you're expecting me to do that, I'm not going to do it. Not today. And everything seems to be better at this park. Not as many bugs. Not as wet, not as, you know, watery. You know, stay away from the creeks. They're the worst. Alright, Sue and Lou, we're done. That's it. Thank you so much for letting me watch you, okay? Alright, Osprey, I'm leaving. Alright, Sue and Lou, bye-bye. Good night. Sweet dreams. Yep, that's it. I am gone. It doesn't matter if they decide to leave. They could decide to leave, or they can decide to stay here. They might just decide to stay here just to protect their territory. They usually do that if they build a new nest. Sometimes they do stay overnight. It's only when they've already built a nest that they usually disperse. You know, they go out there, out in the field. Yes, everything's all good between those osprey there, so I don't think they're gonna nest this year. Nope. There just wasn't enough time. Time was difficult, and I think they probably tried to build on that light pole, but they just kind of gave up and tried the old one. And that's okay. That is perfectly fine. I like that idea. And now they got the taller light pole. The taller light pole is actually overseeing the nest, so they'll be able to actually see into the nest from the top of that light pole. So it actually works. It's a win-win situation with those osprey. They want to be able to have a slightly higher perch when viewing the nest, you know, viewing the nestlings that they'll have in the future and things like that. So yeah, next year in 2026, we'll see the nestlings from them. All right, so thank you for watching. We're done. All right, so until next time, I'll see you later. Take care, everybody.